FHS season tickets.
Welcome into another episode of FHS Season Tickets. I'm Michael, and today we're going to be talking some NFL football. I know the season's a long time away, and you've got the NBA playoffs going on, but really you've got the intro to the Cavs vs. Warriors finals. So, to be honest, NBA has been pretty boring so far. So we're going to be talking about NFL, and more importantly, season win totals in Vegas. Going team by team, giving you whether I think you should take the over, under, lean one side, or stay away completely. So we're going to start this off, going to go in alphabetical order. Starting off with the Arizona Cardinals. Their team is listed at 7.5 wins. And I'm not too strong on either side on this one, to be honest. I would say to lean with the over because Arizona did not take a young quarterback, so there's really nobody who is going to be pressuring Carson Palmer for the job. Even if they did take a young quarterback, they most likely wouldn't have been starting, but I think this shows this is a team that still thinks they have one more playoff run in them, so as they would slightly lean the over, I wouldn't be going crazy on this one. Next one's going to be the Atlanta Falcons, and their total is set at 10 wins, and this is one I would probably stay away from completely. I'm not really too sure how this Falcons team is going to be doing coming off the choke that did happen in the Super Bowl, being up 28-3 and eventually losing to the New England Patriots. I would probably stay away from this one as I'm not too confident they can get back to double-digit wins, but I would not be betting against the Atlanta Falcons getting 11 wins to go over the total, so stay away from this one. Next team, Baltimore Ravens at 9.5 wins. This one I think is going to be going under. I'm not really too sure where the hype from this team is coming from. I can't remember the last time they've gotten double-digit victories. I think it has been a couple seasons. I don't think this season is going to break that trend, so I've got the Baltimore Ravens going under 9.5 wins. Next team is going to be the Buffalo Bills, and their win total is at 6. I would lean the under on this one, to be honest. I don't think this team is that talented. They don't really want to sign Sammy Watkins. They just fired their front office. This team is a mess, so I would definitely lean towards the under in this one. Next team, Carolina Panthers. This is a team I loved last year, and maybe I'm just way higher on them than most people, but their win total at 9 wins. I think this is an over that you should definitely be taking. They had a really rough season last year, but I think they bounce back and have a fantastic season this year and go either 9-7 or 10-6. So if they go 9-7, you split the bet. If they go 10-6, you win the bet. So I would take the over on this one. Next one's going to be the Chicago Bears, win total set at 5 games. I would be taking the under on this one. You've got Mike Glennon and Mitch Trubisky battling to be the starting quarterback, and they also have so many other holes throughout this team. I do not like this Chicago Bears team at all. I think they're one of the worst teams in the NFL. I would take the under for them. Next team going to be the Cincinnati Bengals at 8.5. This is a team I would stay away from. They have had a lot of regular season success, but their team is getting a little older. The AFC North isn't as strong as divisions as it sometimes is in top 3 teams. The Browns, bad as always. But I would stay away from this one. Not really too sure how the Bengals are going to do, so just a pass right here. Next up, the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to say lean the under, even though their win total is only 4.5. I think they go somewhere between 2-14 and 4-12, but you never know with this team. Like, coming off of back-to-back seasons where they've just been absolutely atrocious, you figure that they're going to eventually start to win some of these close games that they have lost the past couple of seasons. So maybe that gets them over the win total. I would lean under, but wouldn't be making a significant bet. Next team going to be the Dallas Cowboys. Their win total is only 9.5, and I would definitely lean over on this one. I feel like I'm almost falling for a trap in Vegas because the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, everybody loves betting for the Dallas Cowboys to win games. And their win total is set significantly lower than last season, even though there haven't been many major changes to the team. Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott entering their second season in the league. The offensive line is going to be almost as good as they were last year. So I'm not really seeing how this team's going to have such a major drop-off from, I believe they went 13-3, and one of their losses was in the final game of the year when they rested their starters against the Philadelphia Eagles, which cost the Browns like 3 selections in the NFL draft, but that's a topic for another day. I would be taking the over on the Dallas Cowboys and doing it with some confidence, even though it's clearly taking a stand against the house, which usually is a bad thing to do, but I'm still going to take the Cowboys. Next team going to be the Denver Broncos at 8.5 games, and this is another one I would stay away from. I'm not really too confident in whoever the Denver Broncos put out at quarterback to get them a winning record, so I would stay away from this one. Detroit Lions over-under set at 8 wins. I think this is probably an 8-8 football team. They'll probably be 7-8 or 8-7 entering the final week, and that game will decide whether they go over, under, or tie. So this is another one I'm staying away from. Don't really love this Lions team, but don't really hate them. Think they're a perfectly average team. Vegas sets their win total at 8. I think that's spot on. Next one, Green Bay Packers at 10 wins. This is another one I would say stay away from. I think the Packers get 10 wins, but I'm not really too sure if they're going to get 11, and I think it's slightly more likely that they get 11 than they do get 9, but if you want to lean the over, that would be the bet I would make. I wouldn't be taking the under, but I would be staying away from this one. Next team, Houston Texans at 8.5 wins. I'm taking the over on this team. They just won 9 games with the same defense basically that they have this year. They also got Deshaun Watson, who's going to be so much better than Tom Savage or Brock Osweiler, even though he's not listed to start. Let's be honest, Deshaun Watson is going to start by week 8 or 9, I do believe, especially if Tom Savage isn't leading the Texans to wins. And I think that's going to help this Houston Texans team win some more games. They have so many offensive playmakers. DeAndre Hopkins, Lamar Miller, just to name a few. So I really love this Texans team. I would be banking on the over coming here. Next up, the Indianapolis Colts set at 9 wins. This is a team that I'm going to be staying away from. I like Andrew Luck more than most people, but I really am not too sold on the rest of the team. I would lean the under on this team, if anything. I think they're the 3rd best team in this division, even though Vegas says they're the 2nd best team. So I would lean the under for Indianapolis Colts, but no strong bet there. Next team up is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Their win total is set at 5.5 games. And I'm going to take the over on this one. I think Blaine Gabbert's an underrated quarterback, underappreciated by national media, and rumors are saying that Tom Coughlin has really changed the look of this organization. I think this is a 6 or 7 win football team that's very much improved. Playing in a division with 3 around 500 teams, I believe they can get a couple of those games and also have a favorable schedule besides that. So I think the Jaguars do get 6 or 7 wins, so I would take the over on this one. Next team going to be the Kansas City Chiefs, set at 9 wins, and I'm taking the over on this one as well. This team, every single year, it seems like they overachieve, so I wouldn't be strongly taking the over, but I would definitely lean the over. Next one going to be the Los Angeles Chargers at 7.5 wins. This is another team that I would lean taking the over. Wouldn't strongly suggest it, but I do think their first-round selection of Mike Williams at 7th overall shows that they still believe Phillip Rivers has another great year left in the tank, and I'm going to believe in them. I think that Phillip Rivers has another good year, and I think he gets them to at least 500. Next up, the other Los Angeles team, the Los Angeles Rams. They're only listed at 5.5 wins. I'm going to take the under on this one, even though I still do like their defense. I'm not sold on anyone that they're playing at quarterback, and this is going to be a theme. If I'm not sold on you on quarterback, I cannot be convinced I'm going to be betting you to win more games than what Vegas is giving you. So I'm going to lean the under on 5.5 on the Los Angeles Rams. Next team going to be the Miami Dolphins. Their win total is set at 7.5. I'm going to pass on this team as well because I just don't know what's going to happen. They're playing in a division where they know they're not going to win the division title. They're almost guaranteed 2 losses to the New England Patriots. That's not a position I want to be in. So you're banking on them going 8-6 in the rest of their games. I don't know about that, but I also think this is a really solid football team that did just make the playoffs last year. So I would totally be passing on this one. Not sure what to expect from the Dolphins. Next team going to be the Minnesota Vikings. 8.5 wins. I would say lean the under on this team. They really fell off after their, I do believe, 5-0 start last season. Their defense didn't look anywhere close to as good as they looked at the start of the year. So, and also losing Adrian Peterson, I think, is a bigger loss than Vegas maybe accounts for. So I would lean the under on the Vikings. Next team, New England Patriots. take the over on New England Patriots at 11 games. Please just do it. There's no way this team loses more than 5 games this season. They're way better than they were last season, and that's coming off a Super Bowl championship. So I definitely would be very confident in taking the New England Patriots over 11 victories this year. Next team going to be the New Orleans Saints. Total is at 8.5. I'm going to take the under on this one, even though Drew Brees is a proven quarterback. The rest of their offense is just really shaky, not sold on their offensive line. Their defense has been one of the worst in football the past couple years, so I would say take the under on the New Orleans Saints. New York Giants, this is a team I'm totally going to pass on. I believe this team is better than 9 wins. With that schedule inside the NFC East, I'm not too convinced that they get more than 9 wins, and that's what their win total is set at, so I would totally pass on this team. Next up, the other New York team, the New York Jets, as what their draft pick announcers said. Couldn't even spell their name right. I had to think right there on how he spelled it wrong, because how do you spell Jets wrong? Like, that's just incredible. But I'm going to take the under on the 5.5 victories for the New York Jets. Once again, not sold on their quarterback position. I think, like my guy Jason McIntyre says, they're going to want to tank and try and draft either Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen, or Josh Allen, most likely the first 2 that I did mention. So I think the Jets go under 5.5 wins and go maybe 3-13, and are drafting in the top 2. Next team is going to be the Oakland Raiders. I would lean the under on this team. This team's more talented than 9.5 wins, but with all the distractions that they do have, I think it's going to be difficult for them to get double-digit wins and stay focused. I do say lean the under and not strongly take the under, because this team is still very talented. They do have a great quarterback in Derek Carr, who's young. Their defense, led by Khalil Mack, is absolutely fantastic, so I wouldn't be very confident betting against them. Next team, Philadelphia Eagles. Their win total is listed at 8.5, and just like the Giants, I'm going to stay away from this team. Actually, no. I'm going to lean the under on the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm not too convinced that Carson Wentz takes the next step in year 2, and I think this is a 500 team or worse, so I don't think they get 9 victories this year. I lean the under on the Philadelphia Eagles. Next team, Pittsburgh Steelers, getting 10.5 victories. This is a team I would stay away from. I'm not too convinced that they're going to be able to get 11 wins. I think they do win the division, but I think that might be with 10 wins or maybe even 9 wins. You never know. So I would stay away from the Steelers here. Next team, San Francisco 49ers, 4.5 wins. I would stay away from this team as well, because I really like what they did in the draft, but they didn't address the quarterback problem. I think they have a really good team, but with such a question mark at the quarterback position. So I can't justify taking the over on this team. I would stay away. I could see them being in a lot of close games and losing it because of their quarterback play, and that would be the reason why they go under. But I also think that they're going to be in a lot of close games, and they're going to have many opportunities to get the 5 wins needed to go over. So I would stay away from this team. Seattle Seahawks at 10.5 wins. I'm going to lean towards the under on this one. No strong prediction here, but I don't think Seattle is as good as they have been in past seasons. I think they're starting to falter a little bit more than they have in past years at home, where you can basically pencil in 7 or 8 wins out of the 8 games that they did play at home. So I would lean towards the under, but no strong take here. Finally, not finally, there's still 2 teams left after them, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers list at 8 wins. I'm going to stay away from this team. I really love what they did in the draft, but it's still a relatively strong division with no real bad team. You have the Atlanta Falcons, also the Carolina Panthers, and the New Orleans Saints besides them. I do believe that none of these teams have below an 8 victory win total, so this is a division that's supposed to be very solid. So maybe since they're listed as the worst team, they go under their win total because their division is just better than you might expect. But also, I really like the moves they got in the draft, drafting O.J. Howard, just adding to the weapons Jameis Winston has. This is a team I would stay away from. Next up, Tennessee Titans, 9.5 victories. I'm going to take the over on this one. I took the over on them last year. It cashed really early into the season. I love Marcus Mariota. I think in this division that isn't that great, they're listed as the favorites. I think they win the division and get 10 wins. and Houston is right behind them with 9 or 10 wins as well. So I would lean the over on the Tennessee Titans. Finally, the Washington Redskins, another team I'm going to be staying away from betting. 7.5 wins is listed as the worst in the division. I'm still totally unsure what they're going to do with Kirk Cousins. It looks like they're still trying to move them. So if you took the over right now and then they move Kirk Cousins, you're basically throwing away 2 games, because if they lose Kirk Cousins, this is maybe a 5 or 6 win football team at best. But if they have Kirk Cousins, I think this is an 8 or 9 win football team. So just that unknown makes me stay away from them. And that will wrap it up for this episode of FHS Season Tickets. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, make sure to leave a like and also subscribe for more season ticket videos.